Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon to never miss any updates.
Share price and NAV, which is net asset value, are a completely different thing. But don't worry, we are going to discuss NAV, that is net asset value, deeply in today's podcast. Hey everyone, this is Anuj Vohra, and in today's podcast we are going to talk about NAV, which is net asset value, and you will get to know a lot of new things regarding what are the differences between investing in direct equity and indirect equity, which means mutual funds. So without any further ado, let's get started. When you invest in equity markets, you have two options. The first one is you can purchase shares from Mumbai Stock Exchange or New York Stock Exchange, or basically it is completely based on where you live. So when you purchase shares or stock of particular company, it is called direct equity. Because let's say if you buy 10 shares of any company at 100 rupees or $100, the $100 here is share price or stock price. So in direct equity, when you invest in direct shares, when you have no diversification, it is called direct equity. You are investing in stocks. And when you are investing in stocks, what you often see is share price and stock price. When the market goes up, there are chances that the share price will go higher. And when the market goes down, there are chances that the share price will go down. So this is what we call share price or stock price. On the other hand, if we talk about indirect equity, in which we consider mutual fund investment, you can invest in equity markets indirectly via mutual funds because mutual funds offer diversification. When you invest in mutual funds, let's say if you invest in equity mutual funds, as we are now talking about equity investment, when you invest, your money is diversified in 40 to 50 companies. So you get benefit of diversification. On the other hand, if we talk about direct equity, let's say if you invest in stocks, you are dependent on specific stock. If that particular company do not perform well, the share price goes down. So when you invest in indirect equity, invest in equity markets using mutual funds, you invest in a specific fund, let's say any equity fund, and when you see the price of mutual fund, it is called net asset value, which means NAV. Let's say if you want to invest in 1,000 rupees and the NAV of that particular fund is 100 rupees, then the total units will be 10. That means 1,000 divided by 100. The amount you invest, which is 1,000 rupees, divided by 100, which is NAV, we call net asset value, and the total number of units you get is 10. So in direct equity, when you purchased shares, it is called the number of shares you have, number of stocks you have of that particular company. On the other hand, if we talk about indirect equity and equity mutual funds investment, you get units. That means here you have 10 units. You do not have 10 shares. And in indirect equity, you get NAV, that is net asset value. And in direct equity markets, you get number of shares. So this is the basic difference that you need to understand, that there are basically two ways of investing in equity markets. The first one is direct equity, when you purchase shares of any company. On the other hand, the other option that you can consider is mutual fund investment, equity mutual fund investment, in which you buy units and this is based on NAV, which is net asset value. If you buy a mutual fund, if you buy expensive mutual funds, then here expensive mutual funds means if the NAV of that particular mutual fund is 50 to 5 to 600, then there are chances that there are definitely you will get lower amount of units. At the same time, the share price is also the same. That's, let's say if you buy shares worth 500 rupees and if you buy shares worth 50 rupees, then there is a huge difference in the number of shares you acquire. The same thing we can apply here in mutual funds as well. If you, let's say if you invest 1000 rupees in mutual funds and the NAV, that is net asset value, is 10 rupees, then you will have 100 units. So this is what you need to understand about investing in mutual funds. What is the meaning of net asset value, which is NAV?